There's no denying the appeal of a classic canvas sneaker. It's a look that hasn't gone away since the 60s, but there's one major problem. The shoes coming from brands like Vans and Converse aren't shaped like feet. Luckily for all of us, there are minimalist/barefoot shoe brands out there making their own takes on this look, but their shoes are actually shaped like human feet. Today we compare two awesome options as the Feelgrounds Knit and Splay Freestyle go toe-to-toe. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sons of Sever YouTube channel, where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Today we're bringing you another toe-to-toe video, and we are pitting the Splay Freestyle up against the Feelgrounds Knit. So two very similar shoes with very similar purposes. We've got two classic looking canvas sneakers, something that could replace your Vans or your Converse. Chris and I are going to go back and forth talking about all the different features of the shoes and how they compare to each other. There are timestamps down in the description, so if you want to go skip around, feel free to do that, but I'm going to send it over to Chris now to start off the comparison.
I'm going to kick things off by talking about the Barefoot qualities of the shoes and comparing those to each other. There are four main Barefoot qualities that I am looking for in a Barefoot shoe. Those are toe box width, stack height, flexibility of the shoe, and ground feel. So jumping right into toe box width, the Splay has no doubt one of the widest toe boxes that we have worked with, if not the widest toe box that we've worked with. I even measured them with a tape measure in another review just to prove how wide they are. So they edge out the Feelgrounds in that category, although I don't think that the Feelgrounds toe box is too narrow for my feet, at least. Moving on to the stack height, these shoes have the exact same stack height at 5 millimeters if you don't use an insole, which I don't with either of them. Kind of nice. If you want to, you can take the Splay insoles that do come with the shoes, put them in either of these just to bump that stack height up to a really comfortable 8 millimeters. That low stack height is going to lend itself well to the flexibility of the shoes, which I'm going to show you here on camera with me, and I'm also going to talk about the resistance I feel as I try to flex them. So the Freestyle, extremely bendy and twisty, and honestly pretty much the exact same results with these. So it's a bit of a wash when it comes to the stack height and a bit of a wash when it comes to the flexibility. One place where there is a difference, which is kind of weird considering the same stack height and flexibility, is the ground feel. I do feel like I get a little bit more ground feel out of the Freestyle. Not 100% sure why, not sure if it's the different rubber that they use in the outsole construction or the different pattern on the bottom, which I'm going to talk about later. But if I had to give the overall Barefoot characteristics award to one of these shoes, it would be the Freestyle.
The first comparison that I'm going to make is going to be between the materials that both of these shoes are made out of. And let's start off with the Feelgrounds. It's definitely a pretty interesting material. It is made of completely recycled products. So the upper, the laces and the lining are recycled PET, and the outsole is a recycled rubber outsole. So I think in theory, that's really cool. Obviously, recycling is good for the earth, and I really like the idea behind this entire shoe being from recycled materials and being able to recycle it after I'm done with it. I think that that's solid. But you do have to question if you are comfortable wearing that much plastic or not. I will say that it is super soft, and it is really nice on your foot. But it's up to you if that's worth it or not. When it comes to the Freestyle, this is made of a cotton canvas upper sourced from Mexico, and then it's a synthetic and natural rubber blend for the outsole. For me, I'm probably a little bit more comfortable wearing the cotton, and so I would probably go with the Splay. Though it is a little bit more stiff and requires just a little bit of a break in to get it as soft and as pliable as the knit comes.
The next thing that I'm going to compare between these two models is the outsoles, and they are very different. So starting with the knit models, we have a bumpy raised texture pattern here on the bottom. The rubber is relatively soft and pliable, which means it's going to squish, giving you pretty dang good grip. I would say similar things about the style of rubber that we have on the outsole of the Freestyle, but the difference is we have recessed texturing instead of raised texturing. This is one of the grippiest shoes that I've ever used, and all of the Splay models are that way. But if I had to give a winner, I would say I feel a little bit more sure-footed when I'm needing to grip the ground in the high-rise knit, especially when doing things like reverse lunges while lifting weights. I think that this thing sticks to the ground really, really nicely.
Next up, let's talk about the comfort of the two shoes. And I will say that underfoot, they're both pretty similar, and I prefer an insole with both of these shoes. I think that it can feel very hard under your foot if you don't have just a little bit of squish there. And that is a bit of a negative for the Feelgrounds because it doesn't come with an insole. You're going to have to buy that separate on top of the purchase price to get an insole in it, but I do think it's more comfortable with it. The Splay one comes with the insole, and I definitely prefer that. And I think underfoot, these things give you a very barefoot feeling. You have a ton of ground feel, but somehow they're also very comfortable shoes that I feel like you could wear all day long. As far as the comfort of the materials go, the Splay Freestyle took a little bit of a break-in period. It comes just a little bit stiffer than the knits does, this cotton canvas material. I kind of already talked about that when I was talking about the materials, but the knit has no break-in period whatsoever. I did find the tongue on the Freestyle to be a little stiff to begin with, but it does break in over time and I don't notice it anymore. Now, when it comes to the fit on your foot, the Splays definitely have a more generous toe box shape, and I think that that does provide an extra level of comfort on their part. More so than the Feelgrounds, their toe box isn't quite as human foot shaped and not quite as wide, and I do get a little bit of rubbing where these pieces of material have been sewn together. Nothing that would give me a blister or that's uncomfortable, but I can feel it. I do want to bring up the instep of the two shoes because we had somebody comment who bought a pair of Splays and they weren't happy with them because they were too narrow for them in the instep of the shoe, and I will say that the Feelgrounds are definitely wider in that regard. So if that's something that you have an issue with shoes that you've bought before, then definitely consider the Feelgrounds over the Splay for that reason.
The last thing I'm going to talk about is durability, and in my opinion, we have a tie. The reason is we've worn both of these shoes a lot for a lot of different things: heavy lifting, boarding, just casual wear, going to playgrounds with our kids, to church, all of those things. Neither of them will break, but this is my thinking. We do have an outsole stitching on the high-rise knit. I believe it's also cemented to the upper, so delamination probably not going to happen. You'll probably wear through the sole before it delaminates, but I think the recycled upper is the weak point. Maybe some tearing at some point, maybe you wear through it. Just depends on what you're doing with it. I think while the cemented construction of the sole on the Freestyle is probably going to be the weakness, the cotton canvas upper is going to be the strength. It seems to be a very sturdy, durable, constructed cotton canvas upper, and we've had no problems with this shoe whatsoever. There's been a lot of issues that people have had with delamination. One guy actually said in our comment section that he just fixed it on his own, which is super cool. So there is a little bit of user serviceability in this guy that you're probably not going to get out of the knit models. So for me, when it comes to durability, I think it's a bit of a wash.
Alright, and let's talk real quickly about the price of these two shoes. The Feelgrounds low rise come in at $114. The high rise come in at $129, and keep in mind that is without an insole, which is another $12 to $15, I think, that you would have to purchase. The Splay shoes are a bit cheaper. So the adult Freestyle comes in at $74.99, and if you're looking at the kid sizes, then it goes down even more. So a really good value in our opinion there as far as the prices go. Okay, now comes the very difficult part of the video where I'm supposed to declare a winner of this toe-to-toe battle. And I'll start off by saying I really like how the Feelgrounds knits look, especially the high rise. I think that's one of the best looking barefoot shoes on the market today. You really can't beat how that one looks. But I do think that overall there are just a few different areas where the Splay outshine the Feelgrounds. And the first one that I'll talk about is price. So as I mentioned before, the Splay are $74.99. A low-rise pair of the Feelgrounds is $114. So there's quite a big difference there. And besides just a little bit of side stitching on the Feelgrounds that might give you a little bit more durability, I think that they're going to last about the same amount of time. So I don't think that one is going to outshine the other as far as the durability goes. The Splay is a little bit more comfortable, and that's due to its very generous and very foot-shaped toe box. Again, this did have to break in just a little bit for me. I thought that the tongue was kind of uncomfortable and stiff when it came out of the box, but that did break in and it's not an issue anymore. And then there's the difference in the materials. You've got to decide if you're comfortable wearing plastic or not. That can be a plus or a negative, depending on how you feel about recycling and having a completely plastic shoe on your foot. So with all of these considerations, for me, I'm going to pick the Splay Freestyle on this one. I do like how it looks. Despite the fact that I like how the Feelgrounds look more, it's still a good looking canvas sneaker. I love the Barefoot qualities that it has. I like the upper material that it's made out of and that nice toe box. I also really like the price, and the fact that Splay have kid sizes is really great too. So there's a lot to like about Splay and these shoes, and that doesn't mean that we think that the Feelgrounds are bad. This definitely fits a lot of people's situations, and we would highly recommend them as well. And with that, let's send it over to Chris to give his final opinion and his winner and the outro of the video.
If I could only pick one, which one would I choose and why? This is a very hard question because I really like both of these shoes, but I would for sure go with the Splay Freestyle. Some of the reasons are more natural materials used in this. I would love to see a cotton canvas upper version of the knits. I also just love the width of the toe box. Some people think it looks goofy, but I think it's extremely comfortable on foot. It's also a super versatile shoe. I can wear it to church, I can wear it casually, I can wear it lifting. Pretty much the only places I'm not going to wear it is hiking and running. One thing I will say that I would love to see with a future Splay model would be a high-rise version. That's what really drew me to this shoe in the first place. I think the high-rise look is really, really nice. I don't really need the functionality of a high ankle. My ankles are plenty thick, but I think that a freestyle high-rise would be pretty cool. Folks, if you liked this video, we would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. As always, down in the description, there are affiliate links and discount codes if you're looking for Barefoot shoes, Barefoot shoe accessories like toe spacers and toe socks, and outdoor and adventure gear. If you want behind the scenes, up close and personal content from us on the different products that we're working with, head down to the link that will take you over to our Patreon. I'm doing videos on there like first impressions videos after I unbox a product. Then I give my initial impressions of it. They're short little 5 or 6 minute reviews. There's one that is free to view for anybody right now on the Blanca York. Any other first impressions videos that I do will be behind the paywall, but luckily it is only $1 to subscribe to the Sons of Sever Patreon. Make sure to follow along with us on Instagram, where I'm constantly doing unboxing videos of the new products that we're receiving. And we'd love it if you would follow along with us on Strava, where we log all of our activity, whether it's hiking, paddleboarding, running, lifting weights. We track it all on Strava. You can too, and you can see the gear that we're using while we're doing those things. We'll follow you back, and we'll continue to build a really cool outdoor and adventure-minded community on Strava. We're glad you're here. We appreciate your view, and as always, we will catch you in the mountains.